And welcome to Hannity. And tonight, a major U.S. embassy hit with rockets, a shooting at a synagogue in New York, and calls for a global Islamic intifada on American streets. And by the way, that southern border, wide open, leaving our country totally vulnerable to terrorists. Now, the president's mind is elsewhere. His big Hollywood fundraiser, that's going on today. His 53-year-old son is in major trouble. The Biden brand has never looked worse than now. So don't expect to hear much from Joe Biden in the days and weeks ahead. Now, over and over again, Joe Biden has been angry, demanding that Americans pay their fair share. He accused American families and businesses of being greedy and selfish. At the very same time, while his own beloved son, he was not paying any taxes on what amounts to millions of dollars in income, according to a federal indictment. And this, by the way, wasn't just your normal, everyday kind of income. Now, according to a federal indictment, Hunter was raking in tons of money from Ukraine and Romania and China, all while Daddy and Pops was vice president and gearing up for a presidential run. Joe Biden lied to your face over and over and over again. Take a look.
Vice President Biden, there have been questions about the work your son has done in China and for a Ukrainian energy company when you were vice president. In retrospect, was anything about those relationships inappropriate or unethical?
Nothing was unethical. My son has not made money in terms of this thing about, what are you talking about, China. I have not had, the only guy made money from China is this guy. He's the only one. Nobody else has made money from China.
That was a lie. And now that Biden's own DOJ has established that the president is a liar, I think the American people, you deserve to know exactly why, well-connected people in China, Ukraine, Romania, Kazakhstan, why were they paying Hunter Biden, an admitted addict at the time, millions of dollars, by the way, with no experience? Now, we, the American people, we deserve answers from this weaponized DOJ. Why was Prosecutor Weiss prepared to put all of this under the rug? He wanted no charges, despite what is a mountain of evidence that he just now revealed. Now, if not for two brave IRS whistleblowers telling the truth and one Delaware judge asking questions, if not for Rudy Giuliani, his attorney Bob Costello, and the New York Post telling the truth about Hunter's very real laptop, guess what? None of these charges would have been filed. Now, why is that? Why were Weiss and Garland, why were they doing Joe Biden such a favor? Were they trying to influence an election? Do they usually give a pass to tax cheats? Now, the crimes listed in this indictment, they are egregious. Now, Biden is accused of willfully refusing to pay taxes in 2016, 17, 18, 19, and in 2017 and 18, he didn't even bother filing a tax return. And remember, Prosecutor Weiss, he let the statute of limitations run out in the unpaid taxes. Those were the Burisma years. How convenient. He also accused of committing fraud by deducting a sex club membership and porn subscriptions as business expenses. Are you kidding me? Now, during this time, Hunter lived a quite extravagant lifestyle, according to the indictment, spending nearly $700,000 on various women, another $400,000 on clothing, accessories, $188,000 on adult entertainment, whatever that means, another $215,000 on restaurants and food. And get this, he took out more than $1.6 million in ATM withdrawals. In other words, Hunter was spending millions on, quote, drugs, escorts, girlfriends, luxury hotels, rental properties, exotic cars, clothing, other items, all while dodging both taxes and child support payments. But in a newly released podcast, Hunter, he tells the world that he and his father, they are victims. A vast right-wing conspiracy is now back. According to Hunter, Republicans are trying to kill him. Take a listen.
They're trying to destroy a presidency. And so it's not about me. In their most base way, what they're trying to do is they're trying to kill me, knowing that it will be a pain greater than my father could be able to handle. And so therefore destroying a presidency in that way.
Poor Hunter. How dare those Republicans demand, equal justice under the law, equal application of our laws. The president's what? They shouldn't have to pay taxes or follow the law? Well, I guess not if you're a Biden. Until now, the Bidens have been able to do pretty much whatever they want. Now, the country just spent 4 hysteria-filled years on Trump-Russia collusion, the witch hunt that never happened, that went nowhere, all lies, all conspiracy theories. But Hunter takes millions from the First Lady of Moscow. That's right, millions of dollars, and no one bats an eyelash, nobody. He takes millions from members of the Chinese Communist Party and the media mob. No questions from them. As vice president, we know Joe Biden interacts with Hunter's business partners on a regular basis. We learned that this week through phone calls, through emails, through golf outings and dinners. And nobody sees a problem? According to John Solomon, there were at least 6 suspicious activity reports detailing a whopping $12 million in wire payments to Joe Biden's Delaware home. Nobody on the left, nobody in the media has anything to say? By the way, where is Adam Schiff or Eric Swalwell or Liz Cheney or Fake News CNN or MSDNC or the New York Times or the Washington Post? They accused Trump of being a Russian plant for 4 long years. Then they elect a guy who is credibly accused of peddling the Biden brand to every sketchy oligarch in the world, including Russian oligarchs. Now, clearly, there is a political rot in our government, our media, our justice system today. It's now been exposed for all to see. Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.